So I just wanted to get on here today and to tell a story that happened in my life before I came back to God. But it is about God. But I just feel like maybe it could help somebody. And the whole reason why I had left to begin with, you know, we're never going to make it if our goal is just to try not to sin and to, do what's right. You have to have that relationship. But if you start there, that's fine, because like the closer you get to God, He's going to change all of that, and you're not even going to want to sin. So if that's where you have to start, then start there. That's what it was for me. One of my greatest fears has always, or was always, it's not anymore, but it was always dying and death. Because ultimately, even though I didn't believe that homosexuality was wrong, I just had always had this fear of dying. Like, it's crazy to think, but like somebody breaking into my house in the middle of the night while I was asleep. I mean, it was just like things like that has constantly bothered me my whole life. And so that's the reason why I first left, was because when God started dealing with me on that, I was like, oh, well, that might be wrong. So I need to try to figure this out for sure. And then once He came in, and then we started having a relationship, and He delivered me from that. But He not only delivered me from that, He delivered me from everything else. And then it wasn't just that, but the relationship with Him made me not want to sin, because I was so close with Him. My desires were for Him, not against Him. But so I used to smoke a lot of weed, and I'd also had taken gummies before, different things like that. And it just happened to be this one morning that I had got off of work and stopped, and it was actually the strongest thing that they had there. They were imported from Colorado, and I took this gummy, and it was okay at first. I knew I was going home to go to sleep soon, and so I took a shower, went in there. By the time I got out of the shower and actually went to bed, I was like really high. I think I might have slept for like 30 minutes maybe, and I woke up freaking out. Like, I couldn't feel me touch myself. Like, I was sitting there trying to pinch my skin. I couldn't even tell that I was touching myself. And it was honestly to a point where, like, it was like, is this actually real, or am I dreaming? Like, what's going on? And I'm just like really freaking out, to the point where I thought I was dying. My heart's pounding out of my chest. And I knew that Becky at the time, she had not taken hers yet, and so I was like freaking out, trying to get her on the phone, calling her, tell her not to take it. And in the freaking out moment, in the panic stage, well, I couldn't get a hold of anybody, and I'm sitting in this dark bedroom alone, which my bedroom was always dark, because I was working third at the time, and so I had blackout curtains. But when I tell you this room was extremely dark this day, I mean, it was like you could not see a single ounce of light in this bedroom. And some of it, I don't know if it was just because I was so high, or if it was God trying to show me then. But I remember I was sitting there on the bed, and I didn't know what else to do, and so I started crying out to God, and I was like, God, the famous line that we all use, whether it was alcohol or some type of drugs or whatever it was, when we're in that moment of desperation, is, God, if you get me out of this, I'll never do it again. Which I assure you that I never took another one of those gummies, because that was absolutely the awfulest experience I've ever had in my life. But I was sitting there, and I was thinking, God, if you'll get me out of this, then I'll never do it again. And just crying out to Him. And in that moment, I don't know if He literally spoke and said it, because like I said, I was extremely high, but I know that I had the thought that this is exactly what hell is going to be like, because it was so dark in there, and I was so alone. And that was one of the things when after I had the thought that this is what hell is going to be like, it was also the fact, one of the biggest things is because he was not going to be there. And that just really stuck with me. I had forgot about it for a while, you know, before everything happened. But ever since it happened, that has just really stuck with me. And so I feel like that's one thing that he was trying to get across, you know, to anybody that, you know, may be struggling. If your motivation, if what you need is just to try to miss hell to begin with, trust me, he's going to bring the relationship part if you are truly seeking him, and he can deliver you from absolutely anything. I mean, I've seen different people, you know, that has been delivered from meth, that has been delivered from just different types of drugs. Like, there's nothing that he can't do. It's just a matter of you truly wanting it and surrendering everything to him, because you can't hold on to some of it and then just give him, like, you just take this much and he'll be like, oh, okay, like, you have to give him everything. But that's one of the things. And since God has saved me and set me free, I could care less. Like, death does not scare me now. I have such a peace about it. Like, if that's what it comes to at some point, then that's what it comes to. But I also just want to encourage anybody who might be struggling with that, and if you think that is your motivational point in getting out, is missing hell, I would strongly encourage you to read the book that I talked about the other day, A Divine Revelation of Hell. This lady, she goes through and breaks down each part of hell. And I mean, she goes down to smells, what she felt, like God allowed her to be able to feel everything. He even left her for just a short period of time so that she could see what it felt like for him not to be there as well. And it goes over how, like, you know, there's different parts of hell for different sins. Like, if you're in witchcraft or if you're in homosexuality, it goes through all of that. So it's just really a great book to read. I read it the first time that I really started coming to God, when I was called into the ministry back in 2007, and it changed my life then. And I read it again after I came back, and I would definitely suggest reading that if that's something that you know, terrifies you, is going to hell, because it definitely will make you make some changes after reading that book. Just know, like I said, that can't be your main focus, and I don't feel like it will be. Like, once you start surrendering everything to God and, you know, giving him everything and just trusting him and trying to build that relationship with him, you're no longer going to want to sin and do the things that you used to do. So I'll drop that link below for the book again. And I'll also drop the link if you wanted to hear my full testimony for the website that has everything on it. Y'all have a good day.